Hello again, a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Deni Kay, here today with a bottle of the Kilchoman Loch Gorm 2022 release. So this is the most recent release of this expression. It comes out pretty much every single year and matured exclusively in sherry casks, bottled at 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, natural color. So what we're going to do is very simple. Go through the smell, the taste, overall experience, give this a score, share with you my thoughts and whether I think it's worth picking up a bottle. So if you don't already subscribe, now is the time to hit the subscribe button, the like button, leave me a comment. So thank you very much in advance for doing that. This is a non-age statement. So the one thing that you will find with Kilchoman is that the core range non-age statements, if you do buy a single cask strength, the distill date, the bottling date, you can quite simply do the maths, but this one's said to have a whiskey between 8 to 14 years of age. So what does that mean? The whiskey has to be a minimum of 8 years old and up to 14 years matured in oak. We already said sherry cask matured. It is a mixture, obviously, of quite a few casks, over 20 casks for this one. I believe the majority of them are fresh casks and then also some refill casks. So what is the difference between a first fill cask and a refill cask? In the name. It's all in the name. First fill cask means it is the first time that that cask has been filled since sherry has come out, and if it's a refill cask, it means that the cask has been refilled once whiskey has come out of it. So that could be a second fill, it could be a fifth fill. It is still going to be called a refill cask. Obviously, the more times a cask has been filled, the less it's going to offer. But what we do find is that you can put whiskey in some really old casks that have been filled, or you could even call them a tired cask if you still want to keep it in oak, but you don't want it to impact the actual spirit. And that's something that you will see with really high age statements. Sometimes that could be done. It could be re-racked or put into old casks, especially in the brandy world as well. Anyway, I don't want to get off topic because I do want to focus on this. So there's some nerdy stuff there that you can get stuck into, but we'll leave that for another time. Now, as I said, what I want to do is I want to focus on this one. So let's do exactly that. It is an Islay whiskey. Kilchoman is known as Islay's Farm Distillery. So what are we expecting on this? We're obviously expecting some smoke, and we're expecting for a sherry cask to come through as well. So are we getting that on the nose? Yes, the peat's there. It is a sweet peat. It is not a heavy or aggressive peat. It's really, really lovely. 46%, really approachable nose as well. In terms of the sherry now, yes, you'll often hear me talk about old school style sherry, contemporary style sherry. This for me here is what I will classify as that contemporary style sherry. So what does that mean for me? It means that it's really bright, vibrant. I'm getting a lot of confectionery sweetness coming through and berries as well. That old school, it might be more dried fruits, chocolate, leather, tobacco, also sometimes that funky, musty, dank vibe coming through as well, which I love. This here is a contemporary style. So let's pick up some more notes and explore, delve a little bit deeper. Now, we said that peat, there's a little bit of saltiness here as well. Yes. Now, in terms of those fruits, what are we getting? We are getting some raisins. We are getting some blackberries. We are getting some blueberries. We are getting some chocolate, a little bit of milk chocolate, predominantly dark chocolate, yes, and some spice. Now, there's quite a bit of, call it baking spices, if you will, a couple of different mixed spices in there, and they are nutmeg, cinnamon, a little bit of clove as well. So there's quite a bit going on the nose. I like it. It is balanced, it is approachable, off to a very good start. Okay, now, I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. I'm going to tell you there are some things that I really like about it, some things that may be a little bit detrimental or take away from it a tiny bit. So I'm going to talk about that for you as well. Now, the taste and the nose are rather different because it is really big on the palate there. The smoke comes forward far more. It is definitely a little bit salty as well. Drying, the spice, the sweetness is all almost kind of on steroids, I guess you could say. Really, really big heaps of layers there, and it lingers forever and ever and ever. There is no milk chocolate here, it is just dark chocolate. There's also some citrus that comes through with the berries and also with the raisins as well. But They are the things that I absolutely love about it. The thing that takes away from it a little bit from me is a little bit of that bitterness. Now, as you take more sips, that does start to die down a little bit, and a little bit of that dryness. So a little bit dry, a little bit bitter. If you add a little bit of water to it, I do know from experience that it does take away a little bit of that drying sensation. The spice works magnificently on the palate, so absolutely fantastic. Now, if I go back to the nose is far softer, as I said, really approachable. I'm getting some citrus, some orange cake that comes through now on the nose, and it is a little bit nutty as well. And often what I'll try to do is, if I can pick stuff up on the nose, sometimes a little bit easier to pick them up on the palate if they're there. Not always the case, but certainly here at the moment, because yes, there's some citrus there, yes, and also some nuts. The nuts are almond and walnut for me. In terms of the nuts, there's also a little bit of bitterness that comes through with them as well. It's almost like with the walnut, I picked up some of the veins that are inside in the shell too. Anyway, 7 out of 10 for me. Solid 7 out of 10. I've bought the bottle, I'm happy with my purchase. I'll absolutely enjoy it. I will say that this one compared to maybe the 2015, 2014 or 15 is not as sherry forward for me. So I actually do think that in terms of taste, the peat is far more, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but it's larger, it's bigger. I feel like some of the previous releases were more cask driven. So the good thing there is, if you aren't somebody who likes something that's oversaturated with cask hops, with the cask driven, then this one ticks the box for you, because I think that the balance there is pretty much bang on, which is why I've given it the score that I have. So thank you very much indeed once again for joining me. Cheers to you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button or leave me a comment. Till next time.